the state of Florida versus Mario Fernandez-Saldana.
From very, very early on, I felt like, obviously I didn't have any evidence, but I felt that Mario Fernandez and Shanna Gardner would be involved somehow.
A bitter custody dispute turns into an evil plot that leaves a Florida father of 4 dead.
But for me, it's important to be there to show not only Jared that we're fighting for him, but to show the community, like, we're still here. Thank you for the support. We're still fighting. And to show those involved in his murder, we're not going anywhere. No matter how tough it will get, we will be here. We will be looking you in your face, and we will be hoping for justice.
The first trial in the death of Jared Bridegan begins in Florida. My one-on-one interview with his widow, Kirsten, as she had to face her husband's accused killer in court. But first, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe. I'm Matt Johnson, and this is Justice. Hey everyone, thank you for being here. It is a big, big week in true crime, including the start of the first of 3 trials associated with the death of Jared Bridegan. It is a case that I have been covering for many, many years. And if you're not familiar with it, here's one of my reports.
Jared Bridegan appeared to have it all. A new job as a Microsoft executive, living in sunny Florida with his wife Kirsten and 4 children.
We had just had London. She was 6 months old. So things were good.
Kirsten had 2 children with Jared, London and Bexley. They also shared custody of his 9-year-old twins from a previous marriage.
On the week that we did not have the oldest 2 kids at our home, Jared would take them out to dinner. It was referred to as date night in this agreement.
The agreement kept Jared and Kirsten in Florida because Bridegan and his ex-wife Shanna Gardner Fernandez were in a bitter custody dispute. What was that relationship like, he and his ex-wife?
The relationship between us and his ex-wife was not cordial. Our communications were always in writing because there was not mutual trust between the 2 households.
On February 16, 2022, Jared had one of his scheduled daddy date nights. After dinner, he dropped off his twin daughter and son at his ex-wife's home in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, and headed home to St. Augustine. On the way, he stopped to get his 2.5-year-old daughter Bexley ice cream. She was in the back seat of his SUV. He then called Kirsten, telling her he loved her and would be home soon. How did you learn something was wrong?
As time started ticking by and the time that they're usually home passed, I can't even describe it, but like, I just knew something's not right.
Her fears became reality after an officer answered Jared's cell phone, telling her Bexley was unharmed. But they needed her to come by the police station to hear about her husband.
They later on that night told me that he had been shot. Where did this happen? Because he usually gets in the car and just drives home. I had talked to him.
Jared was not a victim of any robbery gone wrong or carjacking. Police say he was the victim of a targeted attack on a one-way road he traveled often. Jared came across a tire police say was intentionally placed right here in the middle of the road in the sanctuary neighborhood of Jacksonville Beach, Florida. That's when someone came out of these woods and ambushed the father of 4, killing him on the spot. For almost a year, no answers. Then in January 2023, a break in the case.
Henry Tenen was arrested for the following crimes: conspiracy to commit murder, second-degree murder with a weapon, accessory after the fact to a capital felony, and child abuse.
Now investigators say that Tenen has pleaded guilty in the case and admitted to shooting Bridegan.
Henry Tenen pled guilty to murdering Jared Bridegan. Henry Tenen has admitted that he in fact was the shooter.
According to court records, Tenen once lived in this house that was once owned by Bridegan's ex-wife's current husband.
Our investigation has revealed a single link between Jared Bridegan and Henry Tenen. That is Mario Fernandez-Saldana.
Now Mario Fernandez is the first to go on trial of the 3. And the first witness out the gate was Jared's widow, Kirsten.
Kirsten Bridegan, please.
Ms. Bridegan, are you the widow of the deceased victim in this case, Jared Bridegan? am.
When you first married Jared, was he still involved in litigation from his divorce and leading into child custody issues with Ms. Gardner?
Yes, they were arguing, I believe, about child support around the time of our wedding. There's absolutely no trust, so everything was in writing, text, email.
But you did tell them in so many words, you may want to look at Shanna Gardner or Mario Fernandez.
Yeah, I believe I said something along those lines, that only people I knew had a problem with him were those two.
But you also told them that there was no violence or threats of violence that you could articulate or that you were aware of.
A few years ago, I spoke with Kirsten one-on-one after both Mario and Shanna Gardner had been arrested. Here's part of our conversation. Talk to me about Jared.
Yeah, Jared is much more than the title that he held at work. He loved his job. He ran a design team, but he was the most thoughtful spouse, very humble spouse, and such an adventurous, fun-loving, goofy dad. And I loved watching him as a dad. That was my favorite thing. And thankfully, I have a lot of videos and a lot of pictures of the things that he did with the kids. You know, unfortunately, London was only 6 months old, but Liam, Abby, and Bexley will have plenty of those memories that I can give to them one day and help them remember who their dad was and how much he loved them.
You were surprised with Henry Tenon's arrest, correct?
Yeah, in fact, I had never heard his name before. Thankfully, they let me see his picture prior to us seeing it at the press conference. And I think myself and my brother-in-law were both just kind of shocked. Like, who is he? Like, how is he related to anything? We had a lot of questions about him. With Mario and Shanna, we didn't have as many questions.
And how are you holding up?
I'm good. Tired, but apart from that, I think things have kind of settled a little bit, and overall just a positive feeling right now.
What was it like when you got the news of the latest arrest and it being Shanna?
It's so hard to explain. It honestly didn't feel real. It's like we kept questioning, really? You're like, now? And are you sure? Is everything done right? Like, they can't tell us the evidence. So, you know, we just have to have faith that it's by the book. They have enough evidence. It's a strong case. And we're holding to that hope and that belief. And hopefully that'll play out that way in court.
So they hadn't told you anything. They just told you that an arrest was made, or walk me through how you learned, because you were at the news conference, right?
Yeah. So they had told us to be at the state attorney's office at a certain time. And then we were there for a little while before we were then informed that Shanna had been arrested and was in custody.
And what was that like, being up there at yet another news conference? You were there for Henry Tenon, you were there for the husband's arrest, you were there now for hers, and you told me once before that it's not your favorite thing to stand up there in front of people or cameras, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely not a comfortable feeling, especially when you're having such strong emotions, to know that people are watching. But for me, it's important to be there to show not only Jared that we're fighting for him, but to show the community, like, we're still here. Thank you for the support. We're still fighting. And to show those involved in his murder, we're not going anywhere. No matter how tough it will get, we will be here. We will be looking you in your face, and we will be hoping for justice.
Had you suspected that Mario was also involved in all of this? Because when you and I had spoken the first time, I think it was right after Henry Tenon's arrest, right? Mm-hmm. And they were saying that other arrests and the investigation is ongoing, but other arrests are pending. And we didn't know that he was going to be arrested. And then months later, his estranged wife is arrested. Was that part a surprise to you?
No. From very, very early on, I felt like, obviously I didn't have any evidence, but I felt that Mario Fernandez and Shanna Gardner would be involved somehow. So honestly, Henry Tenon was a surprise for me because I didn't know him.
Because it was them knowing his schedule and having known that he was going to take that narrow road and that he would have to move the tire. Is that what made you think that they were involved because he had just left her house?
That and just the fact that he didn't have enemies. So unless it was completely random, the only two people he had trouble with were Mario and Shanna, to my knowledge.
How were they towards you?
Not friendly. Yeah, everything is a fight. So when Jared was alive, Shanna would take us to family court over and over and over for what we thought were frivolous lawsuits. She didn't win most of them because the judge saw through what she was doing. And that was the entire relationship. We never spoke on the phone or in person. It was all via text or email. So everything was in writing. Like there was just zero trust from us for them.
Did it surprise you when she said that she was estranged from Mario and then moved across the country with the children?
Yeah, I don't know that I ever heard her say that, but her family's company, Stampin' Up, sent out a announcement basically saying they've been estranged, which I think a lot of people questioned because it wasn't until an arrest happened that that statement was made. So, surprising, no. Did I question it? Definitely.
Because also, someone that had been married to someone that died, you think that when there's an arrest in their murder, that they would acknowledge it, correct?
You think they would show some concern for, his family and for their grandchildren, that they would voice, we want justice for our grandchildren. We want justice for our kids. Shanna could have said that. There was no message of that of any kind that I'm aware of from Shanna or her family.
Do you want to talk to her or Mario? Do you want to talk to the suspects and what would you say to them?
I think certain personalities, you could maybe talk to them and it would be beneficial. For their personalities, I don't think it would be beneficial. I don't think it would be good for anybody. So I don't have that desire. I will save my comments for hopefully the day of their sentencing. And I will have a lot to say at that point.
A big part of this trial is going to center around the crime happening in front of Jared's little toddler. We also spoke about that. She's a toddler, but this is where the child abuse comes into it, right? She was strapped in her car seat and she has experienced trauma to where she asks you questions about it. Am I wrong?
You are right. She asked me about the bad guys that hurt her dad, because that's just the general term that we use. So it's easy for her to comprehend. Thankfully, I've been able to tell her the bad guys have been put in jail. She knows what jail is because she's gone to police. We've gone to so many police stations. She kind of understands that they get the bad guys, they lock them up. So with this last arrest, I was able to tell her that the last bad guy was arrested and she smiled and laughed and just you could tell she was relieved, and that was really great to see. So yeah, overall she's doing good. She has an understanding of what's going on in very basic terms.
Talk to me about the Brideigan Foundation, how people can help.
Yeah, so we started the Brideigan Foundation in honor of Jared, and our main initiative is the Bexley Box, which is a kit. You can actually see a couple waiting to be picked up back there. It's a kit full of supplies for children and young victims who may have to spend some time away from their caregiver, or without the essentials like diapers, sippy cups, snacks, things like that. So we have delivered 34 boxes to date. When we started the foundation late last year, we have a whole lot of organizations that want a Bexley box. So if people want to help, they can go to brideiganfoundation.org, make a donation, learn more about what we do. Or if they have a connection with a sheriff's office or police department and they think there's a need, please reach out and we would be happy to work with them.
Walk me through again how you found yourself at a police station and these were the items that you really could have used in that time of trauma.
Yeah, so Bexley had been with her dad, Jared, when he had picked up Liam and Abby for date night. So he had taken the diaper bag with all the things that she would need. And because I had been so concerned and hadn't been hearing from him, I just jumped in the car to try to go out to the area I knew that they were in, and I didn't grab a diaper bag. I didn't think I would need one. So when I got to the police station and, Bexley was there, she needed a diaper change. Her diaper was full. I didn't have any. The car was in evidence. Like, I couldn't get to anything. And so that night made me realize, like, they are not equipped to handle a situation like that. So we make sure that the kids have those things that I wish Bexley had: toys, snacks, a sippy cup that's easy to drink from for young children, blankets, diapers of every size, things like that. So that's what we do with our Bexley boxes. We make sure that they are full. We refill them when needed. And we just hope that it will make a difference for other victims in the same situation.
How are you doing with grieving? I know that you definitely miss him. I see all your social posts.
I'm doing good, for the most part. There are days where you just get thrown into like that dark abyss, like just darkness. But thankfully there's a lot of light that is able to pull you back out. People have been amazing, yourself, other reporters, podcast hosts, the community, people across the world send messages of love and light, and that has made such an impact for us.
As for Mario's defense team, they plan to say he had nothing to do with the crime, and in fact, he didn't even know about it.
The state has brought in evidence giant boots, car keys, jackets of Henry Tenen. He destroyed the life of Jared Bridegan, his wife, his family. He's destroyed the life of Mario Fernandez, who's been accused. There will be no evidence submitted to you that will connect those chains, that he had any involvement in what Henry Tenen did.
If you would like to learn more about this case or others, please head to the video section of this YouTube channel. When you're there, please hit the like and subscribe, and I'll keep you updated on this case and the trial as it unfolds. In the meantime, please take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.